In this video, I will explain StratiScape's concepts of version types and attributes. These concepts apply to both 2D seismic lines and 3D seismic surveys. To illustrate the concepts, I will use a 2D project that has already been imported. The seismic data is from the UK North Sea Transition Authority's Mid-North Sea High project. I use this project because each seismic line has both the final filtered PSTM version plus 4 offset versions. I will use those versions to show you how StratiScape manages different versions of the same seismic using version types. Versions in StratiScape are seismic files that have the same geometry, meaning that they belong to the same 2D seismic line or 3D survey, and they are grouped under the Versions tab of the seismic line or survey. They may be called other things in other programs. For example, in OpenDetect, they are called attributes, and in Petrel, they are called vintages. Individual versions may have different CDP ranges and starting and ending times, but should have the same sample interval. What makes StratiScape different than most programs is that in StratiScape we do not identify versions by their original file name. Rather, as you can see here, we identify them by their version type that is set initially when you import the data. You can always find the original file name by clicking the down arrow on the version itself. You can change the version type after import from the Version tab of either the 2D or 3D Properties window. You add, delete, or rename version types by clicking the Manage Types button on the Versions tab. In this case, we will rename the final full stacks like this. Notice that the name changed for all the seismic files. To explain what attributes are, I will switch to a different project called the F3 project, located offshore Netherlands. Along with a version type, you assign an attribute type to the data when you import it as well. The attribute type, which you see here on the Version tab, is very important for assigning default display properties. Here, I am showing the migrated seismic using the default display properties for seismic amplitude. If I switch to other attributes, you see that they have a different set of display properties. These default attribute properties are only used when you open an attribute for the first time, or if you click the Restore Defaults button. As with version types, you add, delete, and rename attributes from the Versions tab. Note that you cannot rename or delete the seismic amplitude attribute. That is all there is to version types and attributes. Next, we'll look at importing seismic itself.